What's up, y'all? Welcome to another South A Kitchen, and today we gonna cook some fully loaded baked potatoes, also too some fresh asparagus and some New York strips. But the first thing we finna do first is the potatoes because they take the longest to cook. And what I'm finna go do first is come over here, wash them down. Bring it back over here. Get a knife. You always want to poke holes in it. Get the aluminum foil. Do one individual. Just like that. And the temperature for the oven should always be somewhere between 425 to 450. And what we finna do is put it in the oven and let it cook for a whole full hour. Now, to work on the steaks. First thing you want to do, just rinse them off a little bit. I'm doing one right now, so just bear with me. Put it over here. Turn on this heat. I'm gonna start with the steak, salt, a little pepper, do the same side for the opposite side, the salt. A little pepper. Add a little vegetable oil. Olive oil is good, but vegetable oil good too. Just a little bit, just to wet the pan. I'll shake it around a little bit. Let that heat up. But yeah, still add a little pepper to it. Ain't enough pepper on there. Thing we want to do first is always get the pan hot. I always want to get that hot first. Since the pan getting hot, start to hit that little sizzle. Now, since we got it already, the pan is nice and hot, and you got a thick New York strip. steak. So it's gonna take 2 minutes to cook per side. Then after that, we'll let it rest, put the butter and all that, but we'll get to that a little later. But yeah, for right now, this is what's happening. Let that cook for like 2 minutes. Let it sizzle. You hear that little that's what you always need. That's now it's already cooked on one side for 2 minutes. Time to flip it. And how you want it? You want it that little browning, golden brown look on one side. And you're gonna let it cook for another, on the other side for another additional 2 more minutes before I start adding the butter and the fresh thyme in there. So you want it like that first. Go ahead and get it golden brown. Look at that. You see how it's already glistening? That's how you want this to have the perfect steak glistening, like how it is now. A lot of little fat on it, so yeah, that's how you want your perfect steak to be, especially for a perfect medium steak. I don't believe in well done. I don't believe in medium well. I like a medium perfect steak, but it still have a little pink in the middle. That's what I like when it comes to a perfect steak. Some people like theirs rare, medium rare and all this, but I like mine just medium, period. But it's already cooked through. And we're gonna cook this on this other side for an additional 2.5 minutes before I add the butter and the garlic and the thyme in there. You have to cook on both sides. Just make sure your steak always well seasoned with salt and pepper first. Then everything else will fall into place. How you always want a perfect steak. Alright y'all, and after it hit on one side, I'm gonna flip it over one more time. And you see you got that little crust. That's exactly what I want to have, is that crust. And once the crust happens, time to add a little butter to it. Put a little butter. Also too, we're gonna add some fresh thyme. Then I'm gonna get a spoon. Always rinse off, safety. Always gotta rinse off. And now, as the butter melted, it's about the basting part of it. You gotta always baste. You gotta baste. Bring that thyme over here on this side and baste it. Put that right down. Cut up some little garlic. Put that in there. Just baste. Just keep basting. Especially with a thick cut like this, with a thick New York strip, the thicker it is, the little longer you have to baste it. But this is not no average size New York strip. It's not a thin cut, so you always got to constantly baste it during the time when you're cooking it too at the same time. You got to keep basting, keep basting, keep basting. That's the beauty of it, especially when you have a good, delicious cut like a New York strip, especially the steak too. You gotta baste it. Well, you can get that glow in it, that glycerin, that like, oh man, that beautiful steak. And that's how you're supposed to do it, just like this. Just baste it. And you already see how it's looking right now. It's looking all beautiful. You already got that crust on it, and you want to keep making the crust while it's cooking at the bottom. You got to baste it at the top too, so you can get that crust at the top too. Just keep it moving like that. That's how you have to do it. You see how sexy that looks right now? That steak, like almost a perfect steak. Can't get no perfect than that. It can't. You always gotta touch it and feel it. Make sure it's good and right, and it feels like a perfect medium steak. Cut our fire off. Let it rest. Now, since the steak's done, you see how beautiful that is? Man, that is so beautiful. And I'm gonna plate it, let it sit for, let it rest for somewhere between 5 to 10 minutes. And then now, I'm gonna get started on this asparagus. Got fresh asparagus. Gonna rinse them off. Heat up this pan. What we finna do, finna start on the fresh asparagus. Just make sure that you got all that butter flavored all the way around on the pan. Let it melt all the way. And what I'm finna do, I'm gonna split this in half because it's a little too big. So what I'm finna do, break it, put half of it in there, the other half in there with some little salt. A little pepper. with some raw garlic. So I'm gonna cut up. Add another little small stick to it. And how the way I want my asparagus, I like them in between crunchy and not really soggy, because when it's soggy, it's overcooked. But you want them crunchy. And that's how I like my asparagus, crunchy. Everybody else might have their own way of cooking their own asparagus, but me, I like mine on the crunchy side. As long as it's seasoned good, and you hear that when you bite down on it, you know it's the real deal. Add just a little bit more butter to it. Let it melt up in there. You see mittens right now, like, right, let's heat it. I'll add a little bit more pepper to it. And you always want to cook this for maybe a few minutes to 5 minutes at tops at medium temp. Because like I say, you always want it crunchy. You don't want it overcooked for it to be all soggy, because man, it don't taste, asparagus don't taste good to me when it's soggy. That's how you need to have fresh asparagus anyway, crunchy, not soggy. Not overcooked, not undercooked. You just need it just perfect. With salt, pepper, and raw garlic in there, so it can taste that flavor. And that's what you want when it comes to good food, is great flavor. In the next maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes tops, it should be ready. But yeah, like when it comes to asparagus, it don't take long to cook that. So just a few minutes, and then you just gotta keep playing with it. Gotta play with it with that butter, garlic, salt and pepper on it. Gotta keep playing with it. Make sure you get that crunch. You always want that crunch. And that's what I'm looking for, that crunch. Not overcooked, undercooked. You just gotta have it perfect. And right now it seems like it's perfect, so I can cut it off. Still play with it a little bit. Let it marinate in that salt, pepper, and that raw garlic. Gotta keep turning it. And right now it seems like it's good. Since that's out the way right now, put that down. I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna clean it. Everything's always about sanitizing and cleaning this. And that's the two things I believe in. Now it's time for me to get started on the bacon. Strips out, cut them in half. Let that cook for a little minute. These asparagus, play with these, let that soak up all that butter, all that garlic, all that salt and pepper. Get that good flavor. That's where it's at right there. You see all that glistening out, man. That just looks so beautiful right there. Highway, it just shining. It just shining. Now, since the bacon is cooking, now the steak rested for minutes where it needs to. What I'm gonna do is replate it. So replate the steak. It rested long enough. Put it on this plate. Bring out the baked potato. With the knife, I've got to wash it down with hot water. Make sure everything is good. Cut up in there. Oh boy, look at that, boy. It cuts like butter. Like butter. Open it up. Gonna add a little salt, pepper, add some butter. Put 2 things of butter in there. Let it melt. A little salt. A little pepper. Add a little cheese, a little shredded sharp cheddar cheese to it. Let the bacon cook right now. I gotta flip the bacon over. While that's doing, now time to plate the asparagus. Now, the only thing I'm waiting on right now is the bacon for the finale, for the fully loaded baked potato. Let that cook for about another 30 seconds. Also too, with the bacon, you don't want it too crispy, but you want it in between crispy and done. It's already done right now, but you don't want it too chunky, like crunchy, not with bacon. Since it's already pre-smoked, almost darn near pre-cooked. But yeah, just need to just finish it. Just a little cooking, and we'll take this bacon right here. Start breaking it up a little bit. Start spreading it around on the baked potato like that. And now, that is my perfect take of a New York strip, fresh asparagus, and a fully loaded baked potato. And this is South A Kitchens, and we out. Thanks again for watching another episode of South A Kitchens. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And it's the boy Skimp B, and I'm out.